Hi, my name is Adetola Juyitan, and I am an under 40 CEO.
The African Renaissance. The concept that the African people and nation shall overcome the current challenges confronting the continent and achieve cultural, scientific, and economic renewal is here, with young men and women taking the lead. Some call them the new school heroes. We call them under 40 CEOs.
Dumping a lucrative job as a banker was the easiest part of the career trajectory for Adetola Juyitan. It was not a decision she spent a long time brooding over. Conversely, it was not a problem at all for her to decide her next direction. A graduate of accounting from the University of Ekiti, there was only one choice: playing big in Nigeria's rising events industry. The birth of the Glitz Event Center in Lagos, Nigeria is the culmination of her career aspirations. Sitting on 2 acres of land, Glitz Event Center features 2 marquees which can host 2 events simultaneously. Adetola Juyitan is the CEO of Glitz Event Center.
All right, welcome to Under 40 CEOs, Adetola.
Thank you. It's good to be here.
All right, amazing. You attended the Ekiti State University, right, where you read accounting. But not much is on record about your early childhood, primary, secondary education. Please, could you please just share a little bit from your childhood?
Okay, let me say very quickly that when I got into university, the school was called Ondo State University. While I was there, it was changed to University of Ekiti.
Oh, wow.
After I left, it became University of Ekiti State University. So that's just to quickly drop that. But in any case, nursery primary school was in St. Jude's Private School, Festac Town, here in Lagos. After which I moved to St. Helens Unity Secondary School in Ondo Town for the next 6 years before Ondo State University.
Okay, so your mom was a businesswoman?
She still is.
She still is a businesswoman. And your dad, the accountant.
Yeah.
So was it the one who put you on the path to becoming an accountant?
He made an attempt, but it didn't quite work.
And then at some point you just had to flip back and
because it wasn't working.
Come back to business.
It wasn't working. It wasn't where I was.
Okay, so you got your MBA from the Lincoln University.
Yeah.
So why that university in the first place?
At the time, I was still in banking at the time, and there was just the need to take it a step further. I had a choice between 2 schools, actually, and then I settled for Lincoln at the end of the day.
This is Under 40 CEOs.
Having spent a reasonable number of years in banking and a master's degree in business administration from the Lincoln University, it may have seemed that Adetola was destined to be a one-tracker, building a career that would see her rise to the pinnacle as an executive director, or possibly even the central bank governor. But that was not to be the case. So you were a banker for 15 years, thereabouts, right?
Yeah.
So what did you learn during your service in the banking industry that has carried on with you and helped you in business thus far?
I would say that virtually everything. So I try to encourage people that intend to become entrepreneurs today that it's a good idea to work in such an environment for at least a few years before you venture into entrepreneurship. Every rule, everything that I apply in my business today, I learned in one of the 2 banks or both banks that I've worked. The structure, most especially, I would say that I got that from banking.
So you were already a manager in banking, probably.
At the time I left, yeah.
By the time you left, there's a lot of people who are trying to leave, their 9 to 5 and start businesses. But here you are. You left your comfort zone, started the business, and you're a success today. I mean, how did you do it? What gave you the courage to do it?
Okay, let me say first of all that it was clear to me from way back where I wanted to end up. So I think that sort of helped. So it's important that, yes, whilst I was in banking, like you said, my comfort zone, it was very difficult to leave, to take that decision. There was a driving force. I knew that there was something else that I was more passionate about. I would find fulfillment in something totally different from this. So as much as banking was good for me at the time, I knew there was more to me.
Okay.
So when the time came to take that quantum leap, as difficult as it was, I knew that, I had to do what I had to do.
Okay. So it's on record also that you helped with organizing events in the bank. Did that also, prepare you for this?
In several ways, yes.
Okay.
So that's the unofficial sort of training that I got. And I know that several bosses at the time that I worked with had always jokingly said, being in banking, I was in the wrong profession. Every time there was an opportunity to plan one event or the other, or be a part of a certain committee that was in charge of several events, somehow I found myself in those committees, and that helped. Also gave me opportunity to meet several vendors that a lot of whom I still work with till today. So yes, that helps in several ways.
This is Under 40 CEOs.
Driven by the need to add value in the event space, Adetola's unique selling point quickly set Glitz apart.
At the point that you decided to create this, amazing event center, Glitz, what was the gap that you thought you were coming to fill? And have you filled it?
At the time we were setting up Glitz,
Yes.
the idea was for us to set up a one-stop shop.
Okay.
I'll tell you what I mean. I've had cause to plan a few events on behalf of people in the past. And we had to worry about things like get the DJ we had to hire speakers, hire lights, hire all sorts of things to bring to the venue. And then, so yes, the venue was there, and then we had to set up the speakers and all of that. So I'd always looked forward to, I knew this was where I wanted to end up, but I also wanted to fix that part, what I saw as a problem. Because I thought it would have been so nice to walk into this event venue without having to bring in all these things. Isn't there a venue that has everything I need? Why do I have to keep worrying about? Because there were times we got to the venue and then we're looking for the DJ, then we're waiting for the musician who's bringing this, and then somebody brings the speaker and then we're waiting for the other guy, all sorts of drama. So I looked forward to the opportunity of finding a venue where you would have everything you need and not really have to bring in anything. So that was one of the things I knew that I wanted to come in to solve. And proudly, yes. Glitz is the only marquee around that I know that has all of those things as of today. Yes. So yes, we fixed that problem.
All right, amazing. So driving in here, I noticed that it's not just the event center here now. I see the empire is growing. Glitz Garage. How did that come about?
At the point of starting the event center, I recognized the fact that we will not have events every day, and we need to keep the business going. We need to pay salaries, buy diesel, and do some day-to-day, expenses. So I thought I tried to figure out what else I could do that would give me some sort of more regular inflow, and then it wouldn't have to be too far from here, so I could oversee both businesses at the same time. So the garages was one of the options. And then, of course, after a bit of market survey and stuff, we settled for that. So it's a sharp contrast from the events, but yeah, this is what it is.
All right, so what is the garage set up to do?
Try to do wheel balancing and computerized wheel balancing and alignment, car wash. We have a spray booth, so you can repaint and bake your car. All sorts of basic service, car AC refill, and stuff like that. So just the really basic stuff.
You're running 2 separate businesses as part of a group, I believe, right now. What are those key challenges that are unique to your industry? You mentioned diesel earlier, which suggests there's no power. And that's something that every single CEO in Nigeria
painfully
struggles, with. But what are those unique challenges in your industry?
Okay, so apart from the one that are not unique to us, I would say that there's the general belief that venue owners make a lot of money.
Well, you do.
Therefore, it depends on who's appraising. Therefore, I believe we get double taxed. Sometimes more than double. So we're paying for virtually the same thing to different departments of government. Sadly so, but sometimes we and I believe I'm speaking on behalf of venue owners, we sometimes feel that rather than supporting us, the government is actually strangling our businesses, quite frankly. And that has been a major challenge. And then we've not really gotten any reasonable explanation other than the fact that, oh, you guys make a lot of money, therefore you shouldn't complain. And I think that's quite unfair. You know, so that's been a challenge. Beyond that, this may not be unique, but getting the right people to work with has also been a bit difficult. I don't know if I doubt if it's peculiar to our business,
Human resource.
Yeah, it's been a big deal. Sometimes people tease me that maybe my cutoff mark is high, but I don't quite think so. Some things are so basic that you really do think that, you know, but it is what it is. Those are the two major challenges that I've sort of experienced in the course of running these businesses.
All right, so challenges. From every challenge comes a lesson.
Yeah.
Right, so what are those key lessons that you've learned and are willing to share on running a business to profitability and keeping it profitable?
Okay, so with the event center, for example, we had to bend, if I may borrow that word, at the start. We knew where we thought we should be, but because we're new entrants into the market, because we just got into the market, there were certain things we had to do, certain business decisions that we had to take just to set us on the right path. Today we can afford not to give certain discounts. Today we can afford not to bend certain rules, but at the start of the business we had to. When I say bend rules, I don't mean in a negative manner, but say for example, you had someone that had an event that would give you very good visibility and mileage in the industry and wasn't willing to pay beyond a certain amount, so to speak, which was probably lower or not necessarily very profitable. Some things we had to do just to put ourselves out there. So it was some sort of advert, so we had to push such costs into our marketing cost, for example. You know, so some things like that we had to do just to get us on the right track. But I mean, thankfully today I believe we're a lot, you know, better positioned in the market, so to speak. You know, so yes, that's one thing I learned that I thought I wouldn't do because we thought, oh, this is it and this is it. But when we got into the real deal, I realized that some things you have to do.
This is Under 40 CEOs.
We are what we repeatedly do. One quote said,
There are certain skill sets that I believe CEOs need to have, and these skills eventually become habits for you to, you know, attain the kind of success you desire. So what are those habits that you've cultivated over time that ensures that you're the successful person you are today?
As much as I try to give my colleagues, my staff, room to do their thing, I try not to micromanage. However, I'm on top of my game. I'll give you an example. A few days ago, I met someone outside Lagos who said to me that, oh, you are Glitz. My cousin got married at your event center sometime last year. And I said, oh, your cousin, male or female? She said female. I said, oh, what's her name? And then she goes, do you know everybody that's gotten married in your event center? I said, if you tell me the name, I know. That's how involved I get. So I may not be physically here. I may not know every client by name or personally. Over 80% of them actually I do know. Not before they came here for the event, but in the course of planning the event or getting them in as clients, I got to know them. However, I know everyone that's had an event here. So there's nothing anybody can be fooled, so to speak.
All right. All right, so tell me, what are the core values that you personally share with your business? Yes.
Integrity for me is everything. Loyalty is very important. I place it above skills, above skill set. I believe skills can be taught. Those cannot be taught. So if I find a staff who has those, I'm willing to train. But in the absence of those ones, no matter how good you are, I won't take a bet. So integrity, loyalty, very critical for me.
So what would you say is your leadership style?
I don't micromanage. I don't like to be micromanaged, and I try not to micromanage. So the implication of that, however, is that they tend to make mistakes. But you find that they learn from their mistakes. And once they do, you're able to lead from behind. So you allow them lead, and then you just sort of watch. And then, quite frankly, it gives me time to do other things. I can be away from work, doing other things while, they take charge of the business. So that has really worked for me. I mean, we've made our mistakes along the line, but I think leading that way has worked for me.
So talking about mistakes, I'm sure you must have failed as a leader. Tell me about your failings as a leader.
I won't call them failings. I'll call them lessons. So I've done some things in a certain way, and I've learned from mistakes on how things should not be done, or better ways to do certain things, doing certain things. So yes, there have been those things that may be tagged failures, or maybe tagged, I've taken several business decisions that didn't quite go as I thought they would, but you see, those things have also helped me take better decisions. In this, before this, I've tried to run one or two other businesses prior to now, and the failures or the errors or the mistakes in those businesses have helped me in this business. And like I mentioned earlier, in setting up, in expansion, so many things I would do differently. Not because there were mistakes in this one, but it's just that I've used this as a guinea pig to learn how I could do things better.
So what are those things that you would do differently?
So for example, during the setup stage, there were certain purchases that we made in certain locations or certain places. Now I know where we could do them differently, and I'll deliver this same thing at a way lower cost without compromising on quality. So yes, that's one of the, huge gap as per cost. However, I try not to dwell so much on mistakes or errors. I just take the learnings from them and just move on.
This is Under 40 CEOs.
Notable amongst her achievements is her appointment as the president of Junior Chamber International's Nigerian chapter, JCI being an organization she joined from her first year as an undergraduate.
All right, so congratulations
Thank you.
on your recent election as the president of Junior Chamber International. Nigeria. It probably means that the global one is coming soon. But please do take us through your journey at JCI.
Okay, let me first of all say that JCI is an organization of young active citizens. Our mission is to empower young people with development opportunities to create positive change. I joined JCI while I was in school in 1997, and I left school 2001, took a break for a while, came back in 2011, joined JCI Ikoyi 2011, with a few other people, set up JCI Victoria Island in 2013, Area A Director 2014, 10 Outstanding Young Persons Nigeria Chairperson 2015, National Vice President for JCI Nigeria 2016, Executive Vice President 2017, Executive Assistant to the World President 2018, and then I doubled as Chairperson for the JCI Nigeria Permanent Secretariat Committee in 2018, and then 2019 as the #1 citizen of JCI Nigeria President. So that has been the journey in very brief terms, beyond work and church, JCI is what keeps me going.
Amazing. So let's come back to the business. What's the current business structure at Glitz?
So we have a board. Glitz Event Center is just one in the group of about 8 companies, by the way, out of which 6 are functional, very functional. So we have a board, and then the CEO, which is me, and then we have the event center is split into 2. The operations guys, which are the facility management team, and then the events team. They both have team leads who report to me, but indirectly I'm also aware of what's going on with everyone. And so same structure with the garage. We have a board, and then there's a team lead, and then there's a workshop manager, and then we have different departments that report to the workshop manager. For the Glitz Business Services, because of the nature of the business that they set out to do, just the board, and then the CEO, and then the operations person. The food and beverages is just about to kick off, but the same structure will apply. So Glitz Homes also just starting off, same structure will
Real
apply.
estate?
Real estate.
Amazing. So what would you say makes the business landscape in Nigeria unique?
I think the opportunities are enormous. I find that because I have my hands in several things and several industries, I thought the opportunities in the event industry was huge, but putting my hands in other industries, I found out that the opportunities are there everywhere. I think what gives the tick is the fact that we have a very huge population, and so it's really up to you how far you want to go, quite frankly. The opportunities are enormous and endless.
All right, so I know you're well-traveled. How has travel and interacting with different cultures helped to shape your person and business?
In a very unimaginable manner. I've been to Japan twice this year, and I say to people all the time that, of course, I have no plans to relocate or whatever, but if I had the opportunity to live somewhere for 6 months, for example, at a stretch without coming back home, and I had the option to choose, it would be Japan, because of the people, because of the culture. But I've learned quite a lot from their kind of persons. It doesn't matter who you are, it doesn't matter what you think you've achieved, they remain very humble and down to earth. You never can really guess from looking at them what they're worth. And I found that very instructive. I found certain lessons. Being there for just a few weeks, I took quite a number of things away from them. And I've tried to begin to use that in my personal life and in the business. And that's one out of several others. But the Japanese, for me, completely different from the whole world.
Amazing. So what would you say is the biggest letdown you've experienced in business so far?
Sadly so, but you find that your friends or family are not the best clients, or may never even be clients. So getting into business, at the initial stage, you will think that your biggest fans or supporters would be the ones that know you, but the reverse is the case. It shouldn't be so, but it's the reality.
This is Under 40 CEOs.
A Nigerian businesswoman who recognizes the enormity of the opportunities in Nigeria, Adetola describes failings as lessons. However, we're positive that she is ever winning with her lifestyle choices. Or isn't she?
All right, so I have a few quick-fire questions for you. What do you love to eat?
Rice will work anytime, any day.
All right, how would you describe your fashion style?
Comfortably elegant.
What are your favorite brands to wear?
I'm a huge Tommy fan, but in very recent times, I've decided to go Nigerian. And so, for example, today, everything on me, right down to my shoes, are made in Nigeria.
Oh, wow. This is amazing. What is your favorite car to drive?
It will be the Range Rover Sport any day.
What's your favorite travel destination?
Seychelles.
What other CEOs do you currently look up to?
Jimovia, who happened to be my first boss in this sense. Jimovia.
What's your favorite book of all time?
Taking People With You.
By?
David Novak.
And what book are you reading right now?
Same one.
All right, lastly, tell me, Adetola, what makes you happy?
When you find me in the midst of my really close friends, where I'm not doing business, then you find the real me, and that's what makes me tick.
Thank you for coming on Under 40 CEOs,
Thank you
Adetola.
for having me. Hi, my name is Adetola Juyitan, and you too can be an Under 40 CEO.
This is Under 40 CEOs.